The video is running at 8 times the normal speed, and what I'm doing is cutting out a near net shape around it so that it's easier for me to use my router and to cut the finished shape out. The more wood I can get away from the shape, the better it is for me to cut with the router. And so this is, like I said, 8 times normal speed. Well, what this does is this gives me a near net shape, easier for me to route this out and have less chance of breakage. So next route will be doing a little bit of fine chipping with the jigsaw. Get a little bit more of this area out here, some right here, a little further down in here, a little bit right here. Get it a little closer to the edge of the template. And then I'll get set up, and I'm not going to film that, but then I'll get set up and I'll show cutting it out on my router table. And so that'll be the next one, so I'll be back shortly. Okay, what I have in my router table right now is a 3/4 inch diameter, 1 inch cutting flute length, bottom guided panel cutting bit. It's kind of like a flush trim bit. And I like the larger diameter when I'm doing something big like this. I feel like it's more powerful and takes a better cut for me. In this instance, since I'm using a bottom guided bit, laying on the face or the table of the router is the template, a USA shaped template. And then it's going to be cutting the flag portion out, and then it's going to be cutting the back. And the backer board is what you're seeing on top right there, the little plywood. So that'll be cutting all of that in one pass, and then I'll have a little bit of cleanup to do with a 1/4 inch spiral upcut bit that I'll do here in a little bit. But anyway, I'm fixing to get started, so hold on for me. Again, I'd like to remind you this is at 8 times speed, and I am taking calculated risk to do this. So don't do this. Don't do what I do what I say. Okay, I know y'all saw me do some things that you're probably not supposed to be doing on the router. But primarily I kept my feed coming from the right side to the left side because I wanted to cut on this side of the bit wherever possible so that I could keep my chips going into my sawdust system. So I knew that I was going to be making some cuts that I probably should have been coming from the opposite direction, but I wanted to make use of my vacuum system, and I didn't want to change the scene any more than I have to. So I took a calculated risk. It paid off, but if you'll notice, I kept my hands away, and I was as safe as I possibly could, knowing that I was taking some risks. But those were risks that I was willing to take. You saw one spot where it kicked back on me just a little bit, but it was under control. And I was kind of halfway expecting that. But don't do it the way I did. Do it the way you're supposed to. Feed left to right. If you're going to feed from right or from right to left, and if you're going to feed from left to right, you need to be on the back side of the bit, because you always want to be going in the direction that the feed is need to be done. So on a router table, you always want to come in from the right side to the left side. So anyway, now the next thing I'll do is I'll change over, and I will dress up the areas in the small sections, like in the lakes and Great Lakes area regions, and around here where I can't get with that router bit, but I can get it with the the 1/4 inch upcut bit. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. So I'm going to pause this one, and I'll come back and be working on that one. So I'll be right back. Okay, I want to reiterate a point that I made earlier in the video. I'm doing things on my router table that I'm comfortable with, and that I can take a calculated risk, and I know I can make it work out right. Do not do this if you're not comfortable with this. You have to be able to know what you're doing, and you have to be comfortable with the risks that you're taking, and I am. So again, my hands will stay plumb away from the cutting area, so I'm going to be as safe as I can be, but I'm going to take easy, shallow passes with it. So here we go. Again, like I said, some of these cuts that I just made are not correct, they're not safe, but I took a calculated risk because I knew what I could do with it, and I knew if I took my time and I didn't put a lot of pressure, that I could make it work out. So if you're not comfortable with this, don't do it. Even if you're an experienced router operator, think about it before you do it. I've got a background of 40 years in machine shop, so doesn't excuse me. I can still get hurt, but I feel like I can take a little bit more of a calculated risk doing something like that. So do as I say, not as I do. Anyway, that's get it the rough shape cut out. So from here on out, I'll be removing the template and then kind of touching things up, sanding things down. So I will be back. All right, well now it's time to pull the template off the top and see what kind of sign we have underneath it. This should come off pretty easy. It's by 18 gauge brad nails. It did come off pretty good. Put that to the side, and then we'll take a look and see what we got. Yep, I'm pretty pleased with what it looks like. I've got to do some sanding and then, you know, trimming up and getting things ready. A few little pieces like right here. This needs to be cleaned up. Sanding it off. And then I still need to touch up on the red dye. There's some places where I had to do a little buffing and sanding. So I'll get that touched up. I don't know if if the Blue Union's going to need it, but we'll see. I may touch it up as I go along cleaning things up. But I'm real tickled the way this one has turned out, and looking forward to getting this St. Anthony project completed and getting it turned over to them for their bazaar next month, and hopefully that they'll get this thing sold and make some good profit with it. So this is St. Anthony's video. I believe this is what, video number 6. So anyway, if you would, please hit the subscribe button and also hit that little bell notification icon. That way you'll get notified every time I post another video. And if you would, subscribe, like, and share with your friends. I really will appreciate it. Thanks.